And we're live. All right. Man, I used to be so good with getting that time right. There we are. Yo. Okay, so here we are again with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So at the top of the stream here, so just a couple reminders. So first is that. Oh, I thought I heard something. First is that. So for this stream, and maybe the next few streams, we're going to be doing a shorter stream. So instead of targeting the 2 to 3 hours that I normally go for, I'm only targeting 1 to at most 2. This game likes to go long, so we will try to keep it to the 1 hour. I have a lot of things I need to get prepared and get organized for a lot of big changes coming up. And so right now, that's kind of my big focus, and hopefully we get through all this relatively unscathed. So that's the hope. We'll see how successful I am there. With that said, next week's stream is going to be our specialty stream, so that will be on July 30th. And that will be a casual speedrun of Super Mario World All Castles. And so that should be a pretty straightforward run. Might be able to even get 2 full runs in to kind of see how that works. So it should be a little bit more on the lighter side, which will work nicely, assuming that I need to do another shorter stream next week. So we'll see. So hopefully within a month we should be able to get back to normal, I think. That's going to be the challenge, is trying to get to that point. Anyway, with all of that said, we're back. And so we've started our second trial, and we've started investigating this. Immediately the music. Have we already talked to Iris here? We have not. Okay. So we're just kind of thrown into the second trial and needing to find some way to make ends meet. That's a mood right now. We met with the defendant, Natsume Sozeki, I think is his name. Weird dude, off-putting, but there was a moment of just oh, he's just feeling overwhelmed and lost, and yeah. So yeah, we'll just kind of roll into it right now, I think. If I remember all the voices, which is the challenge. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey? Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh, no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Like this? Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism on my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Right. Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? Wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates? I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10, at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father? Oh, no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Oh, yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course. Go ahead, Susie. I am a very great fan of the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Rand's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They're really quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness! Last night, he was telling me about a new case he just solved on a steamship travelling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So, you are the author? Yes, I'll let you on a little secret, if you like. I'm going to call the latest adventure The Speckled Band. The Speckled Band? That's certainly familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course I knew that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think. Don't you? So, do you mean to say all the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine, all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Mrs. Otterson's getting more and more worked up. Yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine. No, at 10 years old? At 10 years old? That's quite incredible. But, Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I suppose it does, yes. Poor Mrs. Otterson. She looks like her whole world has just fallen apart. About before. Yes? What's on your mind, Bruno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we'd just arrived in London, I mean? Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Bruno. After all, I met you yesterday in the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and a travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh. So I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey. I walked right into that one, didn't I? I then noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with the suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me everything, even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded. The two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face. So I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been Mr. Natsume. Now, Bruno has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both had come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided that you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
Called out.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed the certain something of Mr. Shulman's delivery. Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please? So, yesterday Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, silly-looking, stooped man. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Sasaki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all, but it seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man, shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow's too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Oh. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realised that the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest judicial system. I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Sasaki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume. Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where these lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Ah, goody, in that case. Give Gregsy this for me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh! This will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime. Aww. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Oh, I didn't realize that we were that close to... last week. It's fine, I have to make those tough calls, so. So we're gonna save that over that one. Okay. Okay, back to Briar Road for us. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Let's talk to him for, okay, no, we've already exhausted that. Alright, let's just go ahead and give him the thing. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign get-abouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Ladyship? Give that here at once! Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right. For the great adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Oh. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry. Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? I'm kind of glad that, like, I feel like I hit a good voice for him. He was the one that was worried about, like, coming back to his voice the most. Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustached Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there, look. On the first floor of that house on the corner, where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Caradeb. Right, well, if you see her again, make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector. We will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. So weird. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes. So then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Alright. And here we go. I think you got the wrong place, but oh well. May I help you? Yes, this would be the residence of Mr. John Caradeb. Oh, I went to the wrong one. Whoops. Indeed it would, sir. And may I say who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid. I know, and as I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I'd ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way.
Alright, well, we're here, so we'll talk to him. Oh.
Good day to you. John Garadeb, at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back at the Battle of Maywand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from the service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now. I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the General, though, so I grudgingly displayed it up on that wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Ah! Dash it all, woman! Be careful! Oh, dearie me. I do beg your pardon, sir. Oh, you jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs. Is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally. Especially if it helps keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Rand's magazine here, so... Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Sasaki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance, it is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling.
Again, we're here, so we'll just ask him questions. I think that probably also had Natsume's lodgings down a thing. So I probably could have just gone directly there, but we're here now, so...
About Mr. Natsume, then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us. Oh, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then? I have 2 lodgers most of the time. One on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago. Then— Ah! Dash it all, Joan! Do be careful!
Oh, my goodness! I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh, why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. That man had shady written all across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
We won't be calling this maid as witness, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes. Oh yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard.
Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light that gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too.
Oh, I see.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Ah.
Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor on street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed.
Ah! Good grief, Joan! Be more careful, woman!
Oh, my goodness, sir! I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out the window at around that time? The window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think that it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well...
Yes, was there something then?
Well, it's nothing particularly significant or around... Ah! For the love of God, Joan! Watch what you're doing!
Dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naro Hollow. Yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Gerardeb, the way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been something. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing— Ah! Joan, dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Gerardeb.
What is the matter with these two?
It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what?
I wish I knew.
Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak?
Yes. Told me Natsu's name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services?
That's a blatant lie.
Would it be alright if we had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean.
Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs.
Who knows what we'll find that could help us with the case, but we have to try.
We need all the clues we can lay our hands on. Shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Alright. And on we go. Right, because I had to examine in order to be able to talk to him. Okay, so yeah, it didn't give us Mr. Natsume's room. Okay, that wasn't me just being dumb. Thank goodness. Oh, that's a room.
What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar.
So, this is where Mr. Natsume lives? By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you?
No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Gerardeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. There's a bag here. Also, cat. We have to look at the cat. Aww. I'm probably riling up my cat too.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mickey, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No. What a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes back but once in a lifetime. Just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Philosophy. Hi, I'm awake. Okay. We're just gonna look at everything. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit here and read while stroking his cat, but surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh, yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. So we'll just go ahead and make note of that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look who the cat dragged in. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Here we are.
You two, good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya. Yes, of course, the Burya. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Sogi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. Yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. No, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Oh boy. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It was a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I do always remember the pillars of my wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what earnest expression! My dear madam, I should be only too pleased. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe there was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mrs. Otto, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. A man seen fleeing? There were a number of books scattered on the pavement of the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So, you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books. Well, I found myself quite lost in
How do I say that? Bibliophily? Bibliophily? Bibliophily. I'm just gonna go with it, and we're just gonna, sweep that under the rug. He's very wordy.
Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No. Oh dear. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings?
Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service.
I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to be token the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary! As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower class, Being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is precisely for that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in that retired army veteran, Mr. John Gerardeb. Oh. Affable as he is, the fellow was hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab someone sooner or later. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What's that? Surely, not a tax on windows? Precisely that. Oh my goodness! Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed up windows. While the rich opened windows here, there and everywhere, in an effort to curry favour with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. For some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh. Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. He's way too wordy for me right now. Just stumbling over everything. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. Couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Yes, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance in this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Gerardeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations here have uncovered nothing that could help us establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Gerardeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room.
So we will go right back here. If what I think is going to happen, then I'm gonna go ahead and play through it, I think. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hot at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there.
Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me— Wah! For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're doing?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourself. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gerardeb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes?
Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious! When did you sneak in here?
Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet, sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here.
Well,
keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dusk.
Here we go. And this is why we're gonna keep going.
Mr. Garradeb, though as it would seem you're a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
I beg your pardon.
The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care.
Ugh.
And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on.
How could you possibly?
How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, that I am the king of the beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Topic 1. Nature of the Beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on a rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garradeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. In fact, that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of the beasts.
What is this piffle, I ask you?
In the end, your admiration is so great, in fact, that you had living, breathing specimens shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house.
What?
Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam. Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of that terrifying lion, Mr. Garradeb, at Batty's Circus, a travelling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe.
I most certainly did not.
I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through the ring of fire.
On to the next topic.
Now, Mr. Garradeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel is being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Nonsense, man. I simply...
But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of all this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go.
Yes, well,
Now, in the final fit of rage, this ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell it out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of the lion I once saw in India.
wow. Wow.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle.
Wow.
Ah!
What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garradeb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startling sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, I'm very sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room this size. Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't that be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Gerardeb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing, but I don't believe that I have ever heard a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Mrs. Otto, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Shom's deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, we don't even know whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Here we go.
It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on a rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerardeb, leads us to the direction of the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. I really didn't see that lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Gerardeb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So, what was it then? We must follow Mr. Gerardeb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Gerardeb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. This glass is broken so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks can hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower.
Take that!
There we go. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here
is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrett. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garrett. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to, madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue to the beast's current whereabouts. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Mrs. Garrett anywhere. But it seems that there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Miss Garrett's wife could be.
Camera controls. Ha ha ha.
Take that!
What do we have here?
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Huh. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garrett's bride in the photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrett's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrett herself. Oh my word!
Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a— Ah! He deserved that.
It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, that you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct?
It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ.
Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garrett as his wife? Work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrett?
Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret. Please. There we are. There's the first.
The raging wife of Mr. Garrett.
the music that kicks in here.
Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress that this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman that feels rather uncomfortable. Aww. But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible though. What could that pose of his really signify?
Well.
Oh my! Look at that bright red mark! Gosh, that's quite something. It's clearly made by someone's hand. Yes, Mr. Garrideb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard! I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the delivery of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garrideb. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ah.
How the blazes? How do you work that out, man?
Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us, even once. To keep your other side from view.
Well,
Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but we've now established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes. Why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Someone must be reading a book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written by a woman's hand. In a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Bookmarks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh, dear, I'm sorry. So, this bookmark is actually a love note then.
not present a problem, though, because the name...
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here.
Gah! But I don't know the bally woman.
You don't know her?
That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there.
It was just there, you say.
That's right. That's what... Ah!
A likely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. So the previous owner of that book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's what I've been... Ah!
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John!
A likely story.
Oh, are you questioning my name now?
And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of a female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable! The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah. This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who have inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. But surely Mrs. Gerardep didn't eat the carpet? No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So, this last part of Mr. Shulman's deduction... This is the last part of Mr. Shulman's deduction that we need to fix. We need only follow Mrs. Gerardep's case, and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can find. Yes.
That seems suspicious.
This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder?
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge of clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Gerardep's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from its holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames.
Yes,
The most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, the ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was a scene of a fire.
Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Careful! She was ready for that. Oh. I kind of want to, like, unpack that a little bit, but also, like, I don't know. We're going to unpack because I think we're close to the end. I might be wrong about that, though. So, it's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there.
And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt. Ah!
Here we go again. And the carpet, was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor?
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye even, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames.
You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining.
That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
Over here, Mr. Garradeb. Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh. Up in smoke.
Gosh.
Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There I was, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books, coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it was, I lost my favorite. Book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride. Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again.
I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again.
It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage, flames everywhere, and the old stick in full fettle.
Out of interest, what time of day was that?
Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Miss Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Oh. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into only one of only two categories: those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry. Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, it's that time already. If we were to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Sasaki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer.
Alright. Might as well do that since we're about here. So we need to go to the prison. Is this probably gonna, like, put us where we need to be? Oh, this is a weird thing. Okay.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail the kid. Oh. What's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garrideb's house. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers.
Who are you calling an old man, you rum-looking nimmy-pimmy? Niminy-piminy.
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the? Who are you now?
I'm so sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
A lawyer? What's...
If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law.
Fine. I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Get thee a nunnery. To a nunnery.
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here in the Garrodeb residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garrodeb mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a pull missed in my battle of words. Ne'er could there be... sorry. Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman, I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well.
Another character that I really don't like.
I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Sozeki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garrodeb house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh, please just end.
Okay, there we are. So twitchy.
Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We are sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no. Think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. Now, let's not get carried away.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand...
I was right. There we are. I always get worried about like going with the voice and like, all right, who is this? We're gonna try a voice and hope for the best. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the facts. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable, rotten spy, Herr Locke Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my good dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight, and cost me not a penny. Rah! You! How dare you, Herr Locke Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. What a terrible mistake.
haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustacher's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you just said now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh, no. Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me, summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper, but then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? Ah, I am impressed, Mrs. Otto. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry. The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Can we just be done? I'm getting, so just worn out right now. Van Zieks is quite exceptional man. However, in London's Court of Law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. Saseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view, if I can speak. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the lightest of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly, it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh, my. Though the adjudication may see them leave their courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking.
Disappear? But how?
Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage, perhaps they fall into the Thames and are drowned, perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen.
Oh, no.
All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo.
I knew it. I'm dead, Dodo, done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gairdep's house, I assume. Do you mean to say that you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started noticing strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dusk till dawn, dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. It must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose to live there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money. It appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? That's about the case on the SS Burya, if you recall. The Burya. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At the time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us investigate. I did I? Interesting. But what I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean, because you were A grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It is quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing you nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang for as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time that we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there is never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. My instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So, I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mrs. Otto? Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant.
Mrs. Otto's great.
The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Cosima believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So, it's time. Time that I learn to believe in myself. Suzaki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster.
Okay, there we are. Really didn't want it to go that long, but like, again, this game like has this way of doing that more and more. So, oh, but it's okay. So that shouldn't be too off-putting to like take a little bit longer than I was hoping to. So we will go ahead and call the stream there. That's a really good point end. And we will pick this up not next week, but the week after. Next week again, the 30th of July is going to be the casual speedrun of Super Mario World, all castles. So that'll be a pretty fun one to like get into. It'll be interesting to kind of get back to like doing like casual speedruns because I don't think that I've done one since last year. So we'll see how that goes. Should be a fairly straightforward one, kind of an easy one to get back to. And it will be a shorter one too, so we won't have to worry about going over too long. Might even be able to do like 2 runs in one, and so we'll kind of see that. Yeah. So I think that's everything. And with that, we'll go ahead and end the stream here. If you're watching this, thank you so much for watching. And I will be back next week with a casual speedrun of Super Mario World. Thanks and have a good one. Bye!